In 2013, three radical black organizers, Alicia Garza, Patrice Colors, and Opal Tometi, created a black-centered political will and movement building project called Black Lives Matter. It was in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murder. The topic today is Black Lives Matter. This is Pop City Culture.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. Welcome to the most listened to international podcast around the world. Hakeem and Reggie Brown are two young African-American boys speaking the truth. This is Pop City Culture.
Hey. What's up? It's Black Lives Matter. That's right. I'm Reggie Brown. And I'm here with my brother, Hakeem. And I hope everybody is going to get something out of this show today because I'm like introducing it right now. So, what I want to do is say, because, Hakeem's out the room for a minute, but he'll be back in a second. I want to say, that the Black Lives Movement Project is very important, and it's really made an impact in our society. The project is now a member of led global networks of more than 40 chapters. Our members organize and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. Here's Hakeem.
Thank you, Reggie. So, you were saying that they intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we're going to have to go back to this, what you just said, or we can talk about it now. It's up to you.
Yo, man, I don't care. You can talk about it now if you want. Go right ahead.
Okay, we'll talk about it now.
Good. Don't let me stop you.
There's a lot of riots going on now because of the George Floyd incident, which sparked a huge thing again
Sure did.
in the black community. George Floyd was murdered basically on video.
It was a shame.
With a knee to his neck from a police officer. But anyways, a lot of riots happened after that.
Those riots were savage, too.
Burning of local businesses owned by black people. A lot of places got torn apart. So when I heard you say that the members organize and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by state and vigilantes, we got to remember, the Black Lives Matter people should not be or have any part of inflicting any kind of violence in those communities. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Of course I agree, man. I'm just saying, besides, I thought we talked about this in the last episode, that all that stuff was probably Antifa. That ain't, peaceful people are protesting.
Okay, all right. So, let's just move on right now.
Gotta move on. You sounding stupid again.
Because basically, we have a big show ahead of us right now, and it's a big topic.
I'm glad we're moving on because, you always try to make me look stupid every time you start these things. But you go on. You go what you gotta say.
So Black Lives Matter is an ideological and political intervention in a world where black lives are systematically and intentionally targeted for a demise.
Looks like you've been doing some research. What else?
It is an affirmation of black folks' humanity and contributions to this society and the resilience in the face of deadly oppression. Now, I'm telling you right now, obviously black people feel, like I said, it's systematically being intended and targeted towards our community.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, Reggie, can you give me some examples then?
Yo, man, you're doing it again. Why? You know what? Yeah, I'll give you some examples just to shut you up. Whenever a brother or sister goes in a store, they always get eyeballed. They always get followed around. Or, cops can racially profile you. There's a thing called stop and frisk, and nobody got no right to be stopping somebody on the street and just frisking them just because they feel, that's right, they feel they fit some kind of a profile. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Reggie, I know what you're saying. But I'm going to tell you,
What you gonna tell me now?
in the Black Lives Matter as organizers, they work every day with people, and their members understand that there's a huge gap in the movement spaces and in the leadership. The Black liberation movements in this country created rooms and space and leadership mostly for Black heterosexual cisgender men.
Yo, what does that mean? You trying to say something? I don't know what you're saying, Hakeem.
Well, what I'm saying is this. The movement seems to be leaving women, queer, and transgender people and others either out of the movement or in the background to move the work forward with little or no recognition. As a network, they should always recognize the need that a movement needs muscles, and it needs to be intentional and not replicated, obviously, but you can't leave anybody behind. They should make a commitment to everybody, to help everybody. But obviously, people feel that, and you can obviously see it, people are being left behind, other groups. Well, what do you think about that, Reggie?
You know what I think? Nobody should be left behind, obviously,
That's right.
because it's like they say, we only as strong as the weakest link, and I know you're going to have to agree with me when I say that.
Well, as the Black Lives Matters developed throughout 2013 and 14,
Yeah?
they utilized a platform and organized tools. Other groups and organizations, individuals used it to amplify the anti-Black racism across the country. In all ways, it showed up, it seems like. For example, Tamir Rice,
I remember that.
Tanisha Anderson, Maya Hall, Walter Scott, Sandra Blard. These names were inherently important because, the space that Black Lives Matters held and continues to hold helped propel the conversation around the state-sanctioned violence they experience.
Yo, that's right. Violence is like all over the place. You know what I mean? Wherever you look, especially in the ghetto where we live, and in the Black communities. You just mentioned Trayvon Martin, but I don't know. Do a lot of people know who Trayvon Martin is?
Well, Reggie, just in case they don't know, I'll tell them.
You should, because to be honest with you, some people might be out the loop, and some people might not watch the news and be up on current events. You know what I mean?
You see, everybody, on the night of February 26, 2012, in Stanford, Florida, in the United States, because that's where this happened, George Zimmerman fatally shot Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African-American high school student. Now, Zimmerman, a 28-year-old man of mixed race, was neighborhood watch coordinator for his gated community, where Martin was visiting his relatives at the time of the shooting. You see, Zimmerman shot Martin, who was unarmed, during a physical altercation between the two, Zimmerman and himself. So, Zimmerman was injured during the encounter, but he claimed self-defense in the confrontation.
Man, how are you gonna cry self-defense when the other person ain't even got a gun and you shoot them and they end up dead? Doesn't make sense.
So, in a widely reported trial, Zimmerman was charged with murder for Martin's death, but acquitted at trial after claiming self-defense.
Yo, man, are you serious, man? But the other kid, man, he was unarmed, and he's, man, I'm getting frustrated here. Hakeem, this is what I'm talking about. This is why people feel like, the justice system and the court system only works one way. That it don't really work for justice. It just works for just us. That's what we say in the hood. It's a just us kind of system. Just us matters, but, So what happened?
Well, the incident was reviewed by the Department of Justice for potential civil rights violations, but no additional charges were filed, citing
what?
insufficient evidence.
Oh my God, man! Again? How many times is this gonna happen, man? This is ridiculous.
I agree, Reggie.
This is really, really ridiculous.
Well, if you want ridiculous, I'll give you some more ridiculous.
Okay, what else you got?
In 2014, Mike Brown was murdered by Ferguson's police officer, Darren Wilson.
Yeah?
It was a guttural response to be with our people, our family, in support of the brave and courageous community of Ferguson and St. Louis as they were being brutalized by law enforcement, criticized by media, tear gas and pepper sprayed night and day.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know nothing about what you're saying. Mike's Brown murder. I didn't know nothing about that.
Well, a lot of people don't, but you gotta remember, we're kids, and this happened years ago, I guess. But Darnell Moore and Patrice Cullors organized a national ride during Labor Day weekend that year, and they called it the Black Lives Matters Ride. In 15 days, they developed a plan of action to head the occupied territory to support the brothers and sisters. Over 600 people gathered.
This ain't no joke. These people sound very organized.
And they made commitments to support the team on the ground in St. Louis and to go back home and to do work there. And they understood Ferguson was not the arbitration, but in fact a clear point of reference for what was happening to black communities everywhere.
Obviously, because, Hakeem, it just seems like there's like a pattern here, and this pattern just does not get better. I just don't understand it. It seems like time after time, bad stuff is always happening. And, it's all being recorded, and it seems like it's going to the justice systems and to trials, but still nothing's happening.
Nope.
Man, that just burns me up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. I don't know, Reggie, if you ever heard of 21 Savage.
I heard of him. Yep, I heard of him.
Well, what exactly did you hear when you heard him?
Hakeem, I said I heard of him. It don't mean I know everything about him. Why don't you just go on and tell me? You got those papers right there. Go on, man. Stop trying to make me look stupid again.
Well, following Shia bin Abraham Joseph's detainment by the Immigration's Customers and Enforcement, that's ICE agency, Black Lives Matter's global network joined with a consortium of nearly 60 celebrities, top human rights organizations, including Color of Change, Baha'i, Undocu Black Network, Defiant Americans, and United We Dream. The communications and legal teams to advocate for the release of Abrahams Josephs, to continue to pressure ICE and to draw attention to the need for immigration reform, the unfair targeting of black immigrants, and 600,000 undocumented
like a
black
good idea.
immigrants in the United States. What do you think about that, Reggie?
What do I think about what?
Well, just undocumented black immigrants being targeted in the United States.
Well, I don't know. It's first of all, you're saying undocumented black immigrants. Like the word undocumented is like a negative thing, and then you gotta say black, like you want to target the immigrants. So now you say undocumented black immigrants. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Listen, I'm just trying to point out the fact that he was a black immigrant who was undocumented, and there's 600,000 people like that in the United States. But this is the whole thing that's happening. You see, he also goes by 21 Savage, and he's a rapper. So
yeah, go on. I'm listening.
let me tell you this. On Monday, February 4th, 2019, Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors sponsored a petition that has received over 450,000 signatures and led to a social media campaign to hashtag Free 21 Savage. So he was taken into custody because they said he was undocumented. But there's more to the story, too.
Always something, man.
Because on Tuesday, February 5th, 2019, the hashtag Free 21 Savage consortium called on elected officials to investigate the excessive force and abuse ICE used against immigrants and to dismantle oppressive systems and policies that target black immigrants.
Yo, man, it sounds like there was a whole lot of drama, and all that happened in 2 days.
That's right. Two days. But I'm going to tell you something.
What else you gonna tell me? Because now you got my interest. I gotta see where this is going and what you're gonna tell me next. You know what I'm saying?
There's a little bit more because this here goes on. So it just doesn't stop at the 2-day mark.
It don't?
Okay. You see, Representative Hank Johnson wrote the immigration judge advocating for the release of 21 Savage. And on the following Sunday, February 10th, 2019, activist demonstrations outside of Staples Center on Grammy Day
Sounds like people getting organized.
demanding the release of 21 Savage. The debut of a 100-foot billboard urging the public to sign a petition on 7th and Vine in Los Angeles.
Man, seriously?
Yeah, but listen to this. Monday, February 11th, 2019, Black Lives Matter Global Network led a public call to action to make phone calls to Sean Gallagher, ICE field director. And on Tuesday, February 12th, 2019, the Black Lives Global Network led a coalition to release a powerful PSA production by Mike.com in support of 21 Savage. The PSA 21 ways you can be detained if you're undocumented in America featured Common Kendrick Lamar, Mike Tyson, Yara Shadi. I mean, and the whole list goes on.
Man, this sounds like this list got some clout out there. You know what I'm saying?
So, there was a whole rally. And,
But, you said he was a rapper, right? Right, Hakeem?
yeah, and his net worth is $21 million. And I don't know if you know this, he's on Forbes 30 under 30 millionaires.
Oh, my God. This brother sounds like he's doing good for himself. I can't believe that.
This is the whole thing.
Yo, man, get to it. Because you said all that stuff, but I'm still trying to follow you.
Okay, listen to this. Rapper 21 Savage was due to attend the Grammy Award ceremony on that Sunday. And he had been nominated for 2 awards, including Record of the Year for his Post Malone collaboration, Rockstar.
Say what?
It was expected to be the crowning moment of the momentous year for the rapper, in which his second album, I Am, I Was, debuted at number 1.
Man, this sounds like this guy was moving on up.
That's right. But listen, instead of moving on up, instead of being fitted for suits, the rapper, whose given name is Shaya bin Abraham Joseph, was currently in custody in the United States. His manager, Stone Mound Measy, says that he was being held on lockdown 23 hours a day with no television and minimum outside contact. It seems unlikely he would be able to attend the Grammys, the ceremony, which everybody who's famous and who feels this is a crowning achievement, this is something he could not attend.
Oh, man, you talk about crushing somebody's dreams, man. That's just cold. Why they got to do it on that day? I just don't get it.
Well, this is the thing. Abraham Joseph, he had lived in Atlanta since 2005. Having arrived legally in the United States at the age of 7, he was considered part of the city's rap royalty along with Young Thug, Future, Migos, and 2 Chainz. But on the morning of the Super Bowl Sunday, he was arrested by U.S. Immigrants and Customs Enforcement
That's a damn
ICE
shame.
agents and threatened with deportation. According to ICE, Abraham Joseph was a citizen of the UK who failed to depart under the terms of his non-immigrant visa. And on that Tuesday, he confirmed he had been born in Britain because he lived in the United States so long. He has immediate relatives with legal status. He can seek to challenge the removal procedures from the immigration judge. So, I mean, there was a whole lot of drama.
But still, he was detained.
Yeah, he was detained. You see, ICE claimed Abraham Joseph carried a felony drug conviction from 2014, which, in their opinion, was enough reason to place him, an undocumented person in Georgia, under arrest and begin removal procedures.
Man, you know what? That sucks, man. It's just terrible. Terrible. all the stuff that people have to go through. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I just
Anyways,
black people just feel like no matter, even if you become successful and you're black, I know every black person feels like sooner or later they're going to be a target. Somebody's going to try to find something or make up something on them and bring them down because it just seems like that seems to be the pattern.
yeah, you're right. And, I've noticed that if you're black and you're successful in Hollywood, you just better make your money and move on out and be quiet because you don't want to be a target. Because that, unless you're one of the very few who get a pass, then you really can't ruffle the feathers.
I know, man. That's what it seems like. It's called being safe. Saving your own life and your own career. You don't want everybody taking what you got, especially if you try to work hard, you try to make a name for yourself, and something like this happens. Man, Hakeem, life just don't seem fair like that. It just, oh man.
Yeah, that's true. Well, when it comes to Black Lives Matters, there is some criticisms.
Well, what you got?
Well, a lot of people are saying, what happened to All Lives Matters? That was a sign at a protest against Donald Trump.
Yo, man, a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. I say a lot of black people. You know what I mean, Hakeem?
Well, Reggie, I'm going to tell you, I don't know what you mean because I think there's a lot of black people that do like Donald Trump as well. So it could be 50-50. I mean, you watch the news, you don't really know exactly what's going on because news tends to be very political. But, you got to be fair about it. When you hear stuff in the community, some people say they like Trump and some people say they don't like Trump. But it's hard to know exactly what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I know what you mean. I ain't stupid. Just get on with what you're saying.
Okay. Well, when it comes to the criticism of Black Lives Matters, according to Professor of Critical Race Theory David Theo Goldberg, he says all lives matters. It reflects a view of racial dismissal, ignoring, and denial. Philosopher Chris LeBron describes all lives matters as a distinguished retort that misunderstands the problem raised by Black Lives Matter's opponents. And on Real Time with Bill Maher expressed support for use of Black Lives Matter's phrase, stating that all lives matters implies that all lives are equally at risk. And he says they are not.
Well, obviously they're not. I mean, you look at a lot of social media, Hakeem, and it don't be looking too good for black people. You know what I'm saying?
No, why don't you go into depth and tell me exactly what you're saying?
Okay, Hakeem, what I'm saying is when you do the social media stuff, you see a lot of videos of, black people being abused and stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. And there's other things. Now do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I know what you're saying, and I also see what you're saying, yeah. Now, the founders of Black Lives Matters movement responded to all that criticisms of the movements exclusively saying that Black Lives Matters doesn't mean your life isn't important. It means that black lives, which are seen without value within white supremacy, are important to your liberation. Black Lives Matters movement co-founder Alicia Garza argues that all lives matters rhetoric has negative effects for racial justice.
I really gotta hear this.
When we deploy All Lives Matters as to correct an intervention specifically created to address anti-blackness, we lose the ways in which the state apparatus has built a program of genocide and repression, mostly on the backs of black peoples. So, that's what she had to say.
Yo, Hakeem, but we had a black president. Did he ever say anything about it?
Well, Reggie, funny you ask, because President Barack Obama spoke to a debate between Black Lives Matters and All Lives Matters. Obama said, I think that the reason that the organizers uses the phrase Black Lives Matters was not because they were suggesting that no one else lives matters. Rather, what they were suggesting was there is a specific problem that is happening in the African American community that's not happening in other communities.
This sounds like a man who knows what he's talking about. I'm telling you, this is why I always liked President Barack Obama. He knows what to do and say.
He also said that
you cut me off again.
it is a legitimate issue that we've got to address.
Yo, Hakeem, I'm real glad he said something because sometimes, people don't want to say nothing.
I can't argue with you there. People don't say nothing sometimes.
And, for him to stand up and say something and go on the record like that, man, I'm proud of my man, President Barack Obama. I'm giving you a shout out, man. You the man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure he knows what you're saying, and I'm sure he's listening to our podcast. So, Yo,
Hakeem, why you gotta cut me down like that? Man, that was rude what you just did.
What did I do now, Reggie?
Yo, forget it, man. I ain't even gonna go back to it. You just go on what you got to say.
Okay. Like I was saying, the future of Black Lives Matters, where does it stand? Well, 8 protesters calling themselves White Lives Matters were arrested in Austin, Texas. And the demonstrations began on a Saturday morning during an unveiling of a monument at the Texas State Capitol dedicated to the contributions of African Americans to the state throughout history.
Yo, man, what? Go on, man. I gotta hear what happened. To this.
The White Lives Matter protesters are a direct response to Black Lives Matter's movement, which has swelled with support since it began after the death of Trayvon Martin in 2012.
Shaking my head.
They are also a response that was condoned by President-elect Donald Trump throughout the course of his campaign.
Say what? Are you serious?
Yeah. This is what he said. All right, folks, you're going to hear it once. All lives matters, Trump told supporters a rally at Rayford University in Virginia in February. All lives matters. Now, Black Lives Matters is being forced to confront opposing forces and sentiments while preparing for an administration that will likely be less tolerant than Obama's administration and less welcoming to some of the achievements and conversations the group has fostered thus far. So people are really upset with what Trump said at that rally.
People should be upset. It's like this president, he just don't get it. Of course, everybody's lives matters, but right now, it's the black lives that are getting persecuted and abused. It's all on video. Don't he see it? What's going on with this man?
Now, I don't, Reggie, I can't get inside President Trump's head, but, one thing I will say, I wasn't going to mention this, but, he is up for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Say what?
Yeah, he's up for a Nobel Peace Prize for helping to make peace in the Middle East. But we're going to talk about that next time. However, I just thought I'd throw that in there because, I know that would sort of irk you off.
Yo, man, it does irk me off. Why you even want to say something to irk me off? Why,
huh? I'm sorry, Reggie. I just had to do it because, sometimes you're just out of control. So, anyways, you know what time it is?
Yo, man, I ain't even talking to you. You done irked me off.
Okay. Anyways, I do want to take this time to give my words of wisdom. I was not born during the civil rights, but I am someone who's reaping the benefits. The 60s were a terrible time for people of color, and yet the more things change, the more they stay the same. It was said that in LA, California, in the black communities, the African Americans said that they were being harassed and abused and murdered by cops. No one listened. Yet later, when there was footage of actual attacks on blacks in the communities, the cries and voices went unheard. What are people of color to do in a time where we feel that the law that is supposed to protect us chains us and silences us in a corner? Black Lives Matters is a powerful movement that I hope will be around for a long time. This is something that we need and have prayed for. Finally, our voices are being heard. But there is a problem. Our voices are being drowned out, not by the protesters who protest peacefully, but the criminals and thugs who are taking advantage of what's going on. The movement seems to have been hijacked by thugs who are looting, stealing, assaulting, killing, burning the Black Lives Matters dreams down. What would Martin Luther King say to this? He would be shaking his head. I say that to make a change, we must be that change. We as black people should change the system. We don't like the way cops treat us, then become a cop and make a difference. You don't like politicians, then run for office and make a change. There are so many pieces to a puzzle we could fit into, but we must help each other rise and be the best we can be. We must take the next step and be that change. Right now, the ball is in our court. It is time to decide how we want to play this game before others hijack what we are trying to do. That is being heard and make a difference. And let's remember one last thing. Black lives do matter.
Thank you, Hakeem. That was good. But I also wanted to say something before we leave. I want us to listen to a song. It's what we call the Black National Anthem. It's Lift Every Voice and Sing by Kirk Franklin.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky.
Let it
resound
Let it resound.
as the rolling sea.
I like this part right here. Come on.
Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on
Let us march on.
till victory is won.
Now we add a little something to it. Just to encourage you. We're going to take you to church later. Let's go.
We'll keep marching, fighting till the victory is won.
To all my brothers out there.
Hold your head up, brother, till the victory is won.
To all my sisters in the struggle.
Keep believing, sister, till the victory is won.
Till that day. Hey.
Let us march on
To victory.
till victory is won.
That was very nice. I hope everybody enjoyed that song.
I know I did. He rocked that thing.
And in closing, I would like to say thank you for spending time with us, Hakeem and myself. We will see you next time on Pop City Culture. Until then, be kind and affectionate to one another. Remember who you are. Peace.